The frigate Aurora Line drifted through the quiet edge of the Celian Reach, its hull worn, patched, and decorated only by the simple emblem of the United Earth Explorer Corps. Inside its narrow corridors walked a man who believed that patience and honesty solved more problems than any weapon. His name was Callan Ward, a communications specialist who had joined the Corps not for riches or glory, but because he wanted to learn how the galaxy spoke. He enjoyed hearing new languages, mapping patterns in speech, and teaching others how to bridge gaps that opened between cultures. He thought the universe would remain peaceful if everyone understood one another. He believed that even when things grew tense, someone had to stay calm, decipher the truth, and express it clearly. Callan was on his way to the outer docking bay when the emergency signal rang. The deck lights shifted to alert mode, and a gentle voice broadcast through the corridor, requesting all non-essential crew to remain at their posts. Callan paused, listening carefully, trying to detect the tone behind the message. It carried no fear, only urgency. That meant the situation was unknown, but not necessarily dangerous. Still, his curiosity pushed him toward the observation platform. He stepped inside just as the Aurora Line scanners locked onto a drifting vessel shaped like a smooth silver crescent. The ship's architecture was graceful and unlike anything Callan had ever seen. It glowed faintly with a soft inner light, as if grown rather than built. The vessel's exterior was undamaged, yet it floated without power, turning slowly in the dark. Callan recognized the design from a diplomatic briefing. It belonged to the Helian Crown World, a star nation famous for its peaceful diplomacy and extraordinary knowledge of bioengineering. Every Helian ship carried a living energy core that responded to its crew's emotional and mental states. If the vessel appeared dormant, something serious had happened to those inside. Callan did not wait for orders. He moved swiftly to the command deck, where Captain Ryan stood with two officers studying the silent crescent on their display. Though the captain was cautious, he knew that Callan understood Helian culture better than anyone aboard. When Callan suggested sending a boarding team, Ryan hesitated only briefly before agreeing. The Helians were all eyes, after all. If they needed help, the responsibility fell on anyone who could offer it. The boarding shuttle attached to the alien hull with soft magnetic clamps. Callan led the way, his visor adjusting to the dim organic lighting within. The interior looked like a cross between a cathedral and a living grove, filled with curved walls and pulsing vines that carried soft currents of energy. Nothing here was hostile. It felt like stepping into a dream. But no sound came from within, no movement except the faint shiver of the ship's living systems fighting exhaustion. Callan discovered the crew soon after. They were unconscious but breathing, lying in a formation that indicated a protective instinct. At the center of the group rested someone much younger, a small Helian who appeared no older than a human adolescent. Their silver-blue skin shimmered faintly, and a delicate crest crowned their head. Around their neck hung a pendant used only by the highest members of Helian nobility. This was no ordinary passenger. This was the heir of the Helian crown. Callan knelt, analyzing the air. A heavy sedative hung around them, one the ship had likely released automatically when the core detected distress. The sedatives must have malfunctioned, growing too strong when the ship lost balance. Callan recognized the symptoms. He had training for situations like this. He signaled his team for AVAC and personally carried the young heir. Making sure their breathing stayed steady. The return to the Aurora Line was quick. The ship's medical bay worked tirelessly to stabilize the Helian crew. Callan refused to leave the side of the heir, whose soft pulse and fragile breaths worried him. He studied the monitors, adjusting his translation device to decode their neural patterns in case they regained consciousness. He hoped it would reassure them if they woke to a familiar style of communication rather than a foreign environment. Hours later, the air stirred. Their eyes opened, glowing like crystal. They seemed frightened at first, until they saw Callan's gentle posture and the peaceful monitors beside him. When they finally spoke, their voice echoed with harmonic resonance, forming ideas more than exact words. Yet Callan understood. "You guided me back to breath. I guided a friend," Callan said gently. "You protected me." His answer was soft. Anyone would have done the same, but the Heir shook their head. They reached out with a trembling hand and pressed their palm against his. The gesture signified trust at the highest level of Helian culture. Callan felt humbled. He knew he had not earned such honor, yet the Heir saw him differently. They had been unconscious on a vulnerable ship far from home. His voice had been the first thing they heard, and his presence had grounded them. To them, he was not a simple human officer. He was a guardian. News of the rescue traveled quickly. Days later, a shimmering gold vessel descended from the horizon of the star system. It bore the crest of the Helian Queen herself. When the Queen arrived, the Aurora line prepared for a formal meeting. Callan adjusted his uniform, hoping not to make any mistakes. He was used to communicating across species, but not to addressing royalty. The Queen entered with grace. Tall, radiant, and calm, she carried an aura that felt both gentle and commanding. When she saw her child standing beside Callan, she paused. The Heir looked healthier now, though still recovering. They remained close to Callan, clearly seeking comfort from his presence. The Queen inclined her head toward him. "You carried my child from the quiet brink. My people owe you more gratitude than any words can convey." Callan bowed politely. "I only did what anyone should do for another traveler." The Queen studied him with eyes that held the knowledge of many lifetimes. "Yet you did it, without hesitation, and without concern for your own safety. You spoke to them with calm assurance, and brought them peace when they wandered between confusion and fear. You gave more than duty required." Callan was unsure how to respond. He had never considered his actions heroic. To him, they were simply natural. He helped because someone needed help. That was all. The Queen continued. "Human resilience is a force my people have admired from afar. Yet you display it with uncommon kindness. I must ask something of you. The Heir wishes for you to accompany us to the Crown World until their recovery is complete." Callan blinked. He had not expected such a request. "Your Majesty, I am honored, but I have responsibilities aboard this ship," the Heir spoke softly. "Your presence steadies me. Your voice helped me return to light. I ask for your guidance during my healing." Callan felt the weight of both their gazes. He wanted to help, but he could not abandon his duty outright. "I must speak with my captain." Captain Ryan considered the matter. The Helian Crown World rarely requested anything directly from outside governments. Their request carried diplomatic significance. After a brief meeting, Ryan granted permission, provided that Callan remained in contact, and returned once the Heir recovered fully. Callan prepared for the journey with mixed feelings. He was uncertain about life on a sovereign alien world, but he did not want to disappoint those who trusted him. When he boarded the Queen's vessel, the Heir greeted him warmly, radiating relief. The Queen offered him a place among her attendants. Callan accepted humbly, stepping into a world unlike anything he had known. Helian architecture resembled flowing light. Their cities blended with forests of crystalline trees and rivers that sang with soft resonance. Everything felt alive. Callan became familiar with the way the Heir moved through the palace, learning traditions and exchanging stories about human culture in return. The Heir grew stronger each day, and their gratitude toward Callan deepened into a firm bond. The Queen observed all this from a respectful distance. She admired how Callan handled each moment with thoughtfulness. He asked questions without arrogance and taught without demanding. He mediated small misunderstandings between Helian academicians and visiting envoys. His presence brought harmony wherever he walked. Even so, he reminded the Queen regularly that his duty was temporary. He respected the arrangement and planned to return to the Aurora line once the Heir regained full stability. But matters were not that simple. During a council meeting, the Queen made a declaration that startled everyone present. Callan Ward must remain on the Crown World. His service is proven invaluable. His knowledge strengthens our bond with humankind. His presence steadies the Heir and ensures continued peace between our realms. Callan stood, surprised. Your Majesty, I appreciate the honor, but I belong to my crew. They rely on me. I cannot stay here permanently. The Queen approached him with calm dignity. I do not issue commands without reason. You are a bridge between worlds. Humanity has shown skill in strength and adaptation, and you represent those traits with a gentleness that guides rather than conquers. You saved my child not only from danger, but from the fear that followed it. Your connection with them provides stability no one else can offer. I will not take that away. Callan's heart tightened. You cannot keep me here against my will. The Heir stepped forward, voice trembling. I do not wish for you to feel trapped. I only fear losing the one who guided me through stillness and brought me back to hope. Callan looked at them with compassion. You are strong now. You will continue to grow. I cannot be the